Right, where do we even start this week?
I honestly do not know. Honestly.
It's all getting a bit overwhelming, all getting a bit real. There's been articles, there's been trailers, there's been Christmas lights switching on, there's been all sorts just to dissect before we even get going with the episode. So, Saturday evening.
Yeah, I don't really know where to begin with all of this. As you've just said, it's a bit of a clusterfuck, to be honest. It's all just hit the ground at the same time.
It really has. It's almost like they've got a clever PR person behind it.
It's almost like this episode took years and years of planning.
Ruth Jones is scheduled to turn on the Christmas lights in Barry the Saturday evening just gone.
Okay.
Suddenly, I go on Facebook and there's just loads of photos and videos of Nessa turning on the Christmas lights in Barry. I mean, what an absolute treat! I wish I would have went now.
I tell you what, I would have paid 4 figures to be there. I reckon, Chuck.
Monday comes around and we are tagged, as we are now quite frequently, in a article that reveals that there is indeed. It was so bizarre in the way this trailer appeared in the final 40 seconds of the already existing Series 3 Episode 6.
But Chuck, it hasn't gone off. Like, I was expecting, as soon as like a few hundred people found out about it, I was expecting it to be everywhere. Like, the video to be everywhere. I was really struggling to find it this morning.
So I think the weirdest thing must be that it's not come out of any sort of BBC account.
Yeah.
You go on any of the cast, they haven't tweeted about it.
It's all come from word of mouth, hasn't it?
It has, but they're all tweeting. Also, we're going to go into a bit more detail about the trailer and so on and so forth in a future episode, a dedicated Christmas special episode. I think it's worth mentioning a couple of points, though. Christmas is in Wales, firstly.
Definitely.
You think that Bryn's mentioning of Stacey... If you haven't seen the trailer yet, Bryn mentions Stacey's house rather than Gavin and Stacey's house. So, what are your thoughts on that, Cal?
So, yeah, the first time I watched that, the first initial thought I had was when you said it's Stacey's house, I kind of listened to it really quickly. It was in a bit of a blur, and I thought he was actually in Stacey's house. But when you listen to it again, he's on the walkie-talkie saying the plates are still at Stacey, so they're not actually in Stacey's house. They're in Bryn's house, I can assume. So, Stacey has got a house nearby. We know her and Gavin live in Wales.
It must be Doris's.
Yeah, I reckon it is, you know. I'll mention this more in the Christmas special episode we're going to make, but cast your minds back, I did make a prediction that they would buy Doris's house when she died. Just saying.
It is appearing that is looking more and more likely, and I think we can almost pretty much squash the rumours now that Gavin and Stacey have split up or anything.
Yeah, I think we can.
The main press photo they've released, Stacey, I'm just looking at it right now, Stacey is sat on the lap of Gavin.
Okay.
One other thing to mention as well, it's looking like in the synopsis that's come out, Nessa and Smithy are looking like they're not together.
Yeah, that really saddened me, that.
There is a comment in the synopsis that says, Smithy continues to commit to his fatherly role, making the journey to Barry at weekends and every second Wednesday to see 12-year-old Neil the baby. So there we go. You can only assume that they're probably no longer together.
Yeah,
however,
they're no more together.
So perhaps the Sonia character is Smithy's new love interest, and we're perhaps going to see another kind of Nessa and Smithy classic moment.
Do you think that's Sonia? I think, from the synopsis, I think she's the kind of problem in Pete and Dawn's relationship. But again, I really don't want to go into it too much because we've got a whole episode to do it.
Well, we'll ignore Pete and Dawn for now. I'm not too sure about that one. I feel like it could just be a classic argument situation with them. Just quickly mentioning as well a Radio Times article. The cheapskate I am, I didn't buy it today. I actually stood up in Sainsbury's reading it.
You're a joke. You're an absolute joke.
£3. It was only a page and a half. Lo and behold, I have read the article. And it was all quite interesting, actually. They spoke how the special was devised, and it was almost like they were under time constraints because Ruth Jones they wrote it in LA in James Corden's office, and Ruth was under time constraints. She only had a week there.
Right.
So after a few days, they were unhappy with the whole script, and then they went out for dinner with both their other halves, and then they came up with this big moment. So they don't give anything away really in the interview, but they came up with this big moment, and they said after they wrote this particular scene with this moment in it, that they felt obliged to have to, well, that was it. They were doing the episode.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
So it's all going to hinge on one moment then, essentially.
Yeah, there's going to be a big moment. It is bizarre. It's mental. If you weren't excited about the Christmas special before, a month to go now, that little clip, well, no matter what you think, whether you panicked more about it, it was funny. Yeah. It was good.
It was great.
There's a big moment. I mean, come on, Cal.
Oh, how's it going, alright? This is the What's Occurring podcast with Cal and Chuck. So if you like jams on the ash, making an omelette, or a cheeky finger, then crack on. If not, back off. Tidy.
So, end of series 2. Here we are, episode number 7.
Here we are at the very end.
Along board. It's been quite the series. It's been a long series.
You know what I like about series 2 is they really get into their swing of things, don't they?
Yeah, and it's very much. It's quite a poignant series. There's lots of tender moments.
And some emotive kind of whole episodes, and this is one of them.
And it all comes to a whole in this episode.
Yeah.
Very much the two stories we've been discussing a lot about lately, Nessa and Smithy and the baby, and then Gavin and Stacey's separation.
Yeah.
And it all comes to a complete epic ending.
Like a big black head.
Yeah, and the last scene is pretty much Nessa's just given birth to baby Neil and Smithy. So,
given birth to Smithy?
No, baby. Sorry, given birth to baby Neil.
God, I'd like to see that.
Smithy's there. And so, in dedication to baby Neil, who's also the character we're analysing today, we're having a little glass of milk.
But this is 2019, so it's oat milk, not cow's milk.
And this
Cheers.
Isn't freshly brewed. This isn't any titty milk or anything.
I milked the oats this morning myself.
Oh my God. So, you're looking at a Gavin and Stacey pub quiz champion right now, Cal.
Yeah, mate, I'm really sorry I couldn't be there.
Yeah, so Callum bottled it. He didn't turn up.
No, I didn't bottle it.
But a few fans of the podcast, aka my sister, voice of the podcast.
Yeah, voice of the production.
And then Callum, who our guest from last week, he also came to
the guy who was absolutely awful
but
in the Superfan quiz.
Little drum roll. How do we do?
Oh,
champions, of course. 21 out of 25.
You love to see it.
Shout out to the person who ran the quiz. Absolute legend. It was the nichest quiz I've ever seen. It almost did Harrison proud. It was outrageously hard. My personal highlight of the whole evening was though. So it was an amazing evening. They had a curry night. They had a curry.
What did you have, by the way? Did they do the menu?
Chicken curry. It was absolutely
just
delicious.
A chicken curry, no name.
It was just a normal curry, but it was stunning with poppadoms. It was honestly so nice.
No sagaloo.
No, yeah, we did have sagaloo with it as well. Actually,
did they bring it out late?
No.
That's what I would have done if I was organising
right,
the event.
They went in, but not that much. The quizmaster was wearing a Nice Went to Greece t-shirt.
Was he?
Yeah, he was a good lad.
Did you wear yours?
No, I didn't. Regretfully. However, I didn't want to seem too keen.
Yeah.
Already had the podcast.
Was there a few people who were there, like wearing merch?
No merch or anything, but lots of keen people and lots of quoting going. It was pretty much heaven for any Gavin and Stacey fan.
Interesting. I'm glad I couldn't make it.
One of the personal highlights was they had a few little things, like we had to draw Lucy, what she'd look like.
Oh, yeah. What did you draw for that?
Which we did very well in. We drew her with a packet of B&H in her handbag. She was on a horse at a gymkhana.
Yeah, makes sense.
She had My Little Pony. There was a little arrow in the background, like a road arrow, to a sixth formers netball tournament. We went full hog and we won. It was unreal. But one thing we didn't win was another round where someone in the team had to feed another member of the team a corn on the cob using oven gloves, whilst another member of the team necked a Capri Sun. It was honestly hysterical, and the first team to complete all of that won the points. But
I love the sound of that. They've really put their thought into it.
It was epic. Yeah, shout out to the organisers, and that was a really, really fun night. I think there's a few more that I've seen in the pipeline on Facebook.
Really?
So if you do, get down to your local Gavin and Stacey quiz if there is one. Honestly, it was so much fun. And funny enough, we met a few, there was 2 other people who were there, and we've now got them on WhatsApp group chat.
That's unreal.
One of them's going to come on the podcast at some point, because it's bizarre, but you just get that instant connection, you know?
Well,
you get that
that's the thing with these sorts of events. It's like Comic-Con and things like that.
Yeah.
You instantly
have
have
the radio
stuff.
events we go to,
Yeah,
it's just straight away you click with people because you have that common interest.
It sounds nerdy, but you kind of just, your conversation starter is so, who's your favourite character? Or, what's your favourite
mate,
scene?
literally, and just stuff like, just ridiculous quotes were flying around, like niche stuff, and they were, you're just amongst your people. But yeah, it was pretty epic. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have been listening to this podcast have noticed, friends galore as well, how I say pretty much every character or moment is my favourite.
Yeah, you do. I have noticed that. You say everything's your favourite.
I do. So I'm the Bruce Forsyth of the podcast, shall we say.
Yeah.
But
I'll be your Tess Daily. Is it Tess Daily? Does Strictly?
Yeah, it was Tess Daily.
Now it's Tess and Claudia.
Now Tess and Claudia. Anyway, this is
I love Claudia.
Strictly Come Dancing podcast. Others are available.
There is one.
I'm sure there is. Yeah. Anyway, I was working at a party on Saturday night, a private function behind the bar. And I was serving a gin bar, so I literally had about 6 different gins I made. People would select them on the menu. They're pretty good, needless to say. Anyway, this woman comes up, she goes, "Can you recommend me a gin?" And I was like, "Yeah, the rhubarb gin is incredible, really nice."
Oh, yeah.
So she comes back, drinks the gin, she said, "I've just had the rhubarb gin. I'd like to give another one a go. Could you recommend me another one? I really liked it, but I just want to give another one a try." Big gin and tonic fan. So then give her this silent pour gin. But in the time that I've made the gin, I've forgotten who the woman was. And I've given it to her and I went, I've given it to her and I've gone, "Oh yeah, that one's my favourite." And she just looked at me deftly and went, "You said that earlier," like no banter or anything. And I was literally, it reminded me of the podcast. So I think I need to start being harsher.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you need to think about that moment in the bar and think, hang on, I don't want this to happen again. Because you never know. You could one day meet Rob Brydon and he could have listened to this and said, "Well, no, Chuck, you said that was your favourite Brim moment. Fucking make your pick."
Yeah, mate, I need to be more decisive. Anyway, pretty sad episode all in all.
It is really sad.
But very much a really epic finish to the series, as we just said. All coming to a big close, and you can kind of tell that they sort of wrote that second series and went, "Oh, hang on, there's quite a lot of open ends here, you know."
Yeah.
Like, are Gavin and
Because they
Stacey...
were only supposed to have 2 series,
Yeah, exactly.
They?
Are Gavin and Stacey going to be okay? And then, like, what's Smithy's reaction? How's the whole Smithy and the Smithy and Dave dynamic going to work, and so on, with the kid now arrived. So they had to do the 3rd series, especially with the Christmas special in between as well. Favourite moment in this episode?
So,
please?
I'm going to go for a really rogue one.
Yeah.
But, we're saying it's emotive.
Rogue. Yeah.
Now, you'll think, it's not even that good moment. But in the pub, when they're trying to find Smithy...
Yeah.
And you can sense this panic in Rudy and Gavin's, sort of
trying
trying to find him.
I know where you're going now, and I love it.
And he comes out the loo. He's like, "Gavlar, what are you doing here?" And he's buzzing to see Gavin.
Yeah.
But Gavin's there to tell him Nessa's gone into labour. And it's like, he's there doing what he loves. Loves
and
watching
she's
West
early
Ham.
as well, so he's
early.
very worried.
And you can just instantly sense that he's buzzing to see his mate. And he's quite happy to see his sister as well. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like everyone's kind of had those moments where they're about to tell someone that bad news.
Yeah. And then there's that really sweet moment between Rudy and Smithy straight after as well.
Yeah. Almost brought a tear to my eye, genuinely, rewatching that.
What did she say? You're not my...
He's like, "I love you, bro."
Yeah.
You're not just my brother or something like that.
Yeah, we're tight. But, little quick observation on that as well, though. Rudy has essentially sacked her job off just to go and find her brother in the pub. Thinking about it, there's a West Ham game going on at the time, right? So there's a West Ham game happening, so assume it's like a Saturday afternoon or something. So she knows that he's probably watching it somewhere. So she's essentially sacked off his job to go and find him in a place that he probably would be at. What are your thoughts on that?
What, do you think it's too predictable from the writers?
Yeah, well, she's basically quit her job just to go and find her brother, even though they were looking for him anyway.
Well, she clearly wanted.
I've clearly undermined her.
I think she's just such a great person, and she wanted to find her brother so that she could share this moment when he found out that Nessa's going to labour.
Yeah, fair
I think
play.
you're being a bit of a cynic, Chuck, to be honest.
We've got a very much iconic Pam line about Mick putting his drivers and 9-irons away, and my mum is exactly the same. When people are coming around the house and wants to put the house on show and so on, it's so irritating. Suddenly, something that's been in the same position for months on end is now a problem. You're like, Mum, come on.
It's
and you're
almost,
like, really? Like,
who cares?
Stacey's coming. Like,
Honestly.
she doesn't give a shit if Mick's golf clubs are right there. But I was going to just bring up the conversation between Gavin and Stacey. That's really, really quite big stuff.
I know.
You know, and she pulls the ring off. And that's
it's Gavin, because
it's crazy how it's all happening at once, and Nessa's gone into labour. But yeah, it's really intense. That.
Do you know, for me, that this scene struck home for me that Gavin wasn't a robot, because we say how he's like this nice guy, he adores Stacey and stuff, but you do actually forget that he probably is really fucking like confused about it all, because he's not that open. Whereas Stacey is open about it.
He's genuinely worried about his marriage being on the line.
Yeah, it's really quite. This is a really sad episode.
Yeah, and you kind of are reminded at this point as well that the problem kind of stems from Stacey's 5 engagements and so on, because you can see that
always that level of insecurity.
Yeah, well, she's a lot more just happy to just pull her ring off her finger. Bearing in mind later on in the episode, they're pretty much back together. She's got the ring back on, so she's clearly a lot more emotionally hostile than Gavin. Getting quite deep into this, I don't know if the writers have thought about this as well, though.
Yeah,
maybe that stems from losing her dad as well.
Poor,
so
blimey.
Yeah,
but
those insecurities come, so that's why she's always needed a male in her life. AKA had the 5 engagements. And then
her brother's gay as well, so maybe she's not had like
really
sort of the alpha male role model, but yeah, obviously,
pretty interesting.
Very good point. That I think in this scene when they offer her the deposit money, you kind of think the human instinct within you. I was watching it and putting myself in my position. If my girlfriend's parents did that, I was still thinking, even if you weren't happy, you'd still pretend to be buzzing. Do you not agree?
I don't know though, but moments later she's pulling a ring off her finger. So
well, yeah, of course,
you've got to think that big decision is on her mind. But as we said, fan of the show, Joanna Page, Stacey.
Great character, definitely not my least favourite character.
As we know, Stacey can be that kind of sport type. So obviously, it's not unexpected behaviour from her.
No, you're right.
However, so we are then racing across England into Wales for all of them to try and catch the birth of baby Neil and the whole scene there. But interesting enough, I was just saying to you, why on earth are Pam and Mick going?
Yeah, really odd.
I guess maybe it's the weekend, they've got nothing better to do, but it seems like bizarre, bearing in mind it's Smithy's child, but that does remind you...
They've been parents to Smithy.
Yeah, but why wouldn't Rudy go as well if Rudy had already left work and so on?
I don't know. I do think there's a bit of kind of confusion, like, between writer and audience in the sense of how tied up Smithy really is with their family, because they've decided that they're going to have no family really for Smithy in this show.
Yeah.
All they've got is Rudy, who appears in flurries, like doesn't actually appear that much until the 3rd season. But Pam and Mick are essentially his parents. You see his mum in the 3rd season, don't you? Or is it end of this episode?
No, it's the 3rd series.
Yeah,
she comes.
You don't see his mum until the 3rd series. I mean, they clearly want them to be the parental figures.
Yeah, no, of course. No, you know what? That makes sense. Yeah. And judging by the fact that West Ham are playing, it probably is the weekend as well. So they're probably not working and so on, even though Pam doesn't really work and Mick's self-employed. However, moving on, iconic as fuck scene.
Wait, you've changed your favourite thing. This is my favourite too. It's iconic.
but iconic is different in the sense that it's an iconic scene, and it's full of iconic scenes. It's just full of a very relatable and quotable scene that a lot of people remember, and it's of course £5 10 only, and then Smithy pulling up the barrier. But one interesting point I do want to mention, actually, this wasn't actually filmed on the Severn Bridge. So they reveal in the behind the scenes kind of thing, they actually pretty much all of the scenes in the whole programme are filmed on a location, no sets or anything. This is the one thing where they actually had to make a fake toll bridge.
Toll bridge,
thing, because they couldn't physically get the Severn Bridge to stop bloody, operating.
Couldn't they just shut one lane?
Well, no, it's such an important thoroughfare through to England, and I guess they had to do it during the day, and lifting up the barrier as well.
Shout.
So it kind of makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, we then have the birth of Nessa.
Of Nessa. You're having a shocker.
We have
the oat milk, mate.
Yeah, we have the birth of baby Neil. And we also get a little teaser that a can of soup was involved in the fishing trip.
Yes.
Which,
imagine my shock.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You're getting a soup there, but I think Dave is at his funniest, making those little quips about the fishing trip. I think that's peak Dave.
Also, Nessa's like checking in to hospital. How the fuck have those two found the time to go and get a soup?
Very, very.
No, I thought about this.
No. Well,
everyone be uptight and stressed.
No, but they're not allowed in the room because.
But Nessa's still checking in. She's at.
No. Nessa's gone in with Stacey at this point. Yeah, so they're only allowed one person, so she picked Stacey. Just rewinding back a little bit though, I don't think we can go without mentioning the tens machine.
Oh yeah. It's one of your favourite moments.
Yeah. I have mentioned it a lot.
She's a fox.
Yeah, she's not an animal. She's a fox. This is not some sort of cow. She's a fox. Oh my god! And then Bryn just can't deal with it. But Bryn as well with the stopwatch, clearly going under, seeing Nessa. It's just hysterical.
When he comes out with the glove on.
And then, sing to me, Bryn. He's like, "There's no combination of words I can put on the back of a postcard."
Wait, back onto that when Bryn's doing the thing going between us, dress and that. He puts the glove on when he comes out, and I don't know if you noticed this. He said, "How wide are we?" Talking about the dilation. He's like 4 fingers, and Dave pipes up and goes 5 on a push.
So
it's brilliant.
I've just remembered one of the pub quiz questions on Monday was, how many times do you visibly see Nessa with fingers inside of her? Obviously, you never actually see her privates. But how many times do you actually see her?
What, it's referenced that she's put...
Yeah, that there have been fingers inside of her.
Do you know the answer still?
Yeah, I know the answer, obviously. I can't remember exactly which one's which, but I can give you a few.
Can you give me the number and I'll try and name them?
Okay, 4.
Okay, so we got the birth bit.
So the midwife.
Batteries.
Batteries, yeah, correct. Her fingering herself. So, oh God, awful.
Right, yeah.
It's an awful expression.
Hotel room? Is there anything in there?
No, I don't think so.
When they're like making out or something?
I don't think so. No, because you never really see them actually. Oh, wait, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, the one other one was Bryn as well.
So we got Bryn with the dilation, Nessa with the vibrator, the midwife, and who else?
I don't know. I can't remember the other one.
Okay. So
sorry, mate.
We're missing one.
It was definitely 4 though.
Yeah. Did you guys get that right?
No, we put 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't even think of the batteries one. Time for this week's email segment, and as it is the last episode we're doing for a short while, we are simply asking, we are going to have, fear not, a lot of coverage on the Christmas special, but just heading into it, it's heating up, the excitement is unfathomable at the moment. Like I was just saying, there's a Facebook page now of just Gavin and Stacey quotes.
Yeah.
Nearly 30,000 people are on that.
Everyone's really getting Gavin and Stacey fever again.
It is really going big.
Yeah.
So we simply wanted to ask you, what are your predictions for the Christmas special?
There's so many floating around.
And, we've got quite a few to get through, so let's just get on with it. So Cal, firstly, yours please.
Okay, so I want to kick this off. I don't have like a set theory as such. All I have is some key things that I think will be in the episode. So, episode starting with Doris's funeral. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the way I think it'll start.
You know what? I've got an interesting point actually from someone who's messaged in about that as well, which is very interesting.
Okay.
He says, this is Murray on Facebook, he thinks a funeral would be a little bit morbid for an opening scene on Christmas Day.
Okay.
Which is fair enough, but would definitely still like to see a little hat tip towards Doris and a scene of remembrance perhaps. And apparently James Corden has confirmed there will be a little tribute to
there should,
to her.
shouldn't there?
And also, Larry Lamb said the opening scene made him cry. So I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm quite contradicted by it.
I actually reckon, I could be right.
I think, I get Murray's point, but if they do it in a comedic way, which, we've spoken about...
Oh, they can with Doris.
Well, we've also mentioned various serious subjects beforehand, which they've made a joke out of, such as rape and suicide. So death I wouldn't be surprised.
Is Scott in it? Do we know?
I don't know.
Scott could be
not
making...
listed, but
yeah.
We've already had 2 weddings, and we know how they like a common kind of life event in the sense there's a christening, in the sense there's a wedding, in the sense there's very much these general kind of life events. The Christmas special in itself.
There was one on there. Someone agreed with me. They said it would start with the Doris funeral.
Yeah, no, we've had quite a few. So
Yeah.
I think the Doris funeral was not the worst shout.
I'll just quickly finish the rest of my predictions, Chuck.
Yeah, go on.
I also think that, so I'll continue my predictions then. Smithy and Nessa, I think, will still be together, contrary to prediction that a lot of people think they won't be.
So for me, that is the one kind of big one, which I'm not sure about.
Yeah. I think everyone's expecting them to not be together, so they're going to be together.
Yeah.
And then they'll have more kids, more than one kid. Personally.
We are left on tender hooks at the end of series 3, so that I think Gavin and Stacey, them being separated, I think people are putting it out there. I don't think it's going to happen.
And the final piece of the puzzle for me is this new character Sonia is a new partner of Gavin's, and Gavin and Stacey split up. Yeah. I can't see it happening because
we could talk about it for days.
Yeah, I know. Well, we need to save it. We need to save
will
for an
go
episode.
in inanimate detail. Anyway, for me, the big one is definitely Nessa and Smithy. Will they be together? What I do really want to quickly mention, and focus on it for a bit, is I've seen this buzzing around a lot as well. Are we going to be rolling on from the last episode?
No.
Or are we going to be in 2019?
Real time.
Okay, I want it to be that. The only reason why I think it might not be that is because, judging on the new character Sonia and her age, so as we mentioned in the last episode, that her real life character age I think is 35. The real life actress, she's 35, which is the similar sort of age that Gavin, Stacey, Smithy and not Nessa. Nessa's an anomaly, but Gavin, Stacey and Smithy were at in the. So
no, they were younger than that.
No, so they were 28.
Yeah.
In
7 years.
Yeah, so I'm chatting out my
7. Yeah, 7 years. So they're the same. It's real time.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. So Antonia is predicting that Nessa and Smithy are going to have triplets.
Interesting. Grace, she simply wonders whether Pam will ever get the conservatory she desires.
I love that.
Simple,
and will
but
Dino
effective.
be building it? Will he still be drinking tea or coffee?
Yeah.
No, sorry, toffee or tea. Louis Ross, thank you for getting in touch as well. This is quite interesting. This isn't a prediction. This is a bit more inside knowledge. So Louis must have been around when they were filming. He says, rumour has it there is a big final scene filmed out at or outside Stacey's. He says they pushed the crowds back really far when filming and drove big production trucks in the middle of the road to block the view.
Do you reckon he's a bystander? Or...
So I reckon he must have been in the crowd when they were trying to film it. So they pushed them back for a big final scene, which is pretty interesting. I was quite surprised, just a little point, that how many... I'm surprised they just didn't block off the whole of Barry when that happened.
Yeah, shut it
We've
down.
already found out a little bits and bobs about the episode.
I'm surprised it hasn't been leaked. I cannot lie. I honestly can't lie.
Well, a journalist or something, yeah, you know
just
what I mean?
all they need to do is
just
create...
tell a mate, or... Yeah, or
all they need to do is just set up a fake account.
Well, they must have signed contracts and so on. Anyway, Tim Fannin.
Yeah, Tim Fannin says, Baby Neil has gone off the rails. He's been hot wiring Eddie Stobart lorries and supports Cardiff City. So... Therefore, it's Cardiff he's supporting, not West Ham.
He's been hot wiring Eddie Stobart lorries.
You hate
thanks,
to
Tim.
see that.
Tim, fan of the show.
Yeah.
Tim Fannin. Jesus Christ. Finally, Harrison, our good friend. One of the couples, he reckons will be going through a trial, some sort of separation or divorce. I can't imagine it happening. Someone put it quite well on Facebook. it's not EastEnders. It's Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah.
It's a light-hearted comedy series at the end of the day. Let's not forget that.
Don't forget its roots!
Just a couple of final ones, more specific to the actual start, which we've already brushed on a little bit with the funeral and so on. A couple of people are putting theories together about where are we going to be. So Ian says it will open with a phone call like every episode does, which is pretty interesting because... You know, I just like, where will it end up? Where will it start? Because what's Stacey doing for work? It's just very interesting how that phone call worked. And finally, Bonnie on Twitter, she says she wants to start with Gavin and Smithy on the phone singing a Christmas song.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see that.
I don't think Band-Aid should be included though. That's been and done.
Okay, it's time now to move on to this week's character analysis. For me, this has been my favourite one to do. It's just ridiculous.
Has had a lot of excitement.
Yeah,
getting stuck into it.
Okay, the person we're going to analyse today is Baby Neil. He says a lot.
Neil the baby. Which, again, just looping quickly back to the Christmas special, is going to be interesting. Will he be in it? How old will he
he's
be?
going to be like 13 or 14.
Yeah, he's going to be an early teenager now. He's actually 11 years old in real life.
God, I cannot wait to see Nessa, what she's like with a teenage son. It's going to be brilliant.
Right, let's get through the crux of Baby Neil. So,
yes.
Full name, as we know, is Neil Noel Edmund Neil the Baby Smith. He's the son of Nessa Jenkins and Neil Smith. We have that funny moment at the end of episode 2 where they're both about to argue about what to call Neil the baby, and they both realise that their traditions, which are different, her granddad and his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, we always call them off, and they've got the same name.
So it's written in the stars, which is why I think Smithy and Ness will be together personally.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So. Funny enough, he's conceived as a mistake, but it is when they both walk back with mud all over them, isn't it?
That was nothing.
That doesn't count. That was rubbish. I know. And then obviously we have the reveal at Capriccio's right at the start of this series, and then the continuation of very much their awkward relationship with each other. Here's an interesting question: if Neil the baby wasn't born, do you think they would be less inclined to maybe end up together, or do you think their love was actually far stronger beyond that?
I don't think if Neil the baby wasn't born, this show would be nowhere near what it is.
Okay.
Because he doesn't do a lot, but the storylines that revolve around his existence are so fucking huge.
It's a pretty big call.
No, it is, because if you think about it, a lot of the entertainment we get from the third series, even the second series...
Yeah, well, the christening alone. How funny is the christening?
Oh my God, what an episode.
The christening is a cracker.
But yeah, he's had some
But yeah, he gets christened, and then, of course, right at the end of the whole 3 series is quite a tender moment with... Smithy's stuck. Does he go back to London?
Oh, I love it.
Cardiff?
I love that bit.
Oh my God, it is just... perfect moment. You've got Snow Patrol playing in the background.
It's poetry, really.
It was you
isn't
that
it?
did this.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Should we go on to his top 3 moments?
Let's do it. So, in at number 3 with 25% of the vote, we have the christening.
There we go.
Are you shocked that it's not higher up?
No, I'm not surprised, just because it is hilarious, but I think the 2 moments we're about to hear are a bit more tender, a bit more poignant, and just far more deep. Like, just give a lot more to the series, especially the one about the football shirts, which I'll be interested, because that's very much like, you really feel the horrific divide that Smithy's feeling at that moment. Anyway, should we go on?
Okay, so in at number 2, we have what I voted for, Cheveley Services.
Cheveley Services, the handover. Yeah. Which, of course... This is the last scene they ever filmed in Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah, it was,
isn't it?
This is
the last ever scene.
They were having that meal together. Yeah. It's just so adorable.
Oh, God. It's hot. And then the photo that Smithy gifts to Nessa as our wedding gift. He's like, cheers, I haven't got one of them. That is a beautiful moment. And funny enough, I only really realised that was the last ever scene they filmed with Gavin and Stacey until a few years ago when they showed the last bit, when they actually cut it, and it's incredibly emotional. Like, James Corden's rubbing his eyes out, and they're just having a long embrace.
You've got to send me that clip.
Yeah, no, I will do. It's really worth a watch. But when you see that now and you rewatch that scene, although it's in the middle of the final episode, you can really, really see the emotion and kind of tell that like there was a lot more behind it.
Yeah.
Like, that actual scene, because it's incredibly poignant.
It really is.
Yeah, and that's why when I say the more emotive moments higher up, that's what I was talking about. You know, that chiefly serves.
You know, I'm going to go on a whim. I say this is one of my favourite episodes. I know that moment wasn't an episode,
here he goes.
But I do genuinely
Brucey's
reckon
here.
like it's a really, really good episode, this one. And anyway, in at number 1, what do you think it is?
Well, I think it's the football shirt one, isn't it?
It certainly is.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
Which is, yeah, like I said, just quickly to recap, it's just devastating, isn't it? You can feel it, and there's nothing more horrible than a big football
For a
fan,
father,
and
oh my God.
he wants his son to be, and he's bought the shirt as well with Smithy, and yeah, Dave really grinds on your gears at those points.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
43% the vote. Did
There we
really
go.
well.
Neil the baby, what a character, what
What
a
a
legend. Thanks for coming. Interesting to see where I'll be in the Christmas
Yeah,
special.
yeah. So I think it's time for us to go into our superfan segment, isn't it, Chuck? Should we get on with that?
It is, Cal, but I know you've got a quiz set for me already.
Yeah, right.
I have got a potential super fan for you this week. However, Abby from episode 5, I mean, 20 out of 20. Second place was 9 out of 10, 9 out of 20.
Yeah, I mean,
so
there
you
was
know
no one
what,
beating
Cal?
her.
I just thought, scrap it, final episode. You know what?
Right.
Forget about it. So I've got a little surprise up my sleeve.
What?
I've got. Well, this is the thing. I'm not telling you who it is.
Oh, for God's sake.
I've got someone waiting on the line. Just for a bit of funny logistical business that the audience don't really need to know, but it is funny. I've had to save him or her in my phone as mystery guest, and as I've added him/her to the WhatsApp group chat, Callum is not allowed to look at his phone right now. His/her's WhatsApp photo is right there, and that is going to give the game away. So Callum, do not look at your phone.
Yeah, no, I won't. I don't want to ruin this.
The simple
Very
premise of
excited.
it is, though, I'm going to give you 10 questions, right,
Yeah.
to this mystery guest.
Okay.
And by the end of it, I need a guess from you from who it is.
Okay.
Shall we get them on the line?
Oh, I'm nervous. Yeah, but let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's go. This is the Superfan segment with a twist, as it's the final episode. Okay, simple premise. Callum, you've got 10 questions. I have a mystery guest on the line.
Yeah.
Handpicked.
Yeah.
And you've got to give it a guess.
Okay. All right.
I would say, take a drink, but it is 11:15 in the morning, so we won't add any drinking elements to
Okay.
this.
Right.
Anyway, far
I'm
away.
really confused. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these questions is just kind of follow the tangent. So I'm going to start off with, are you a cast member?
No. Well, no.
Oh, okay, right.
I mean, yeah, sort of. Oh, okay. Go back to the first question. The answer is effectively yes.
Effectively, yes. So that means you've got an affiliation with the show, but you're not a cast member. Chuck, please stop laughing. I've got to concentrate here.
I'm gonna butt in here and say yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's. Okay.
The answer to that first question is yes.
Okay. Is your involvement in the show to do with music?
No.
That's 2 questions.
I am a cast member. Okay.
Okay. Do you play someone in the Welsh side or the Essex side?
Essex.
Or neutral?
Essex.
Essex. We've kind of broken the
That's-
rules
that's
with the
a
yes
good
no
question.
questions, but we'll go with it. Essex side. Okay.
That is a very good question.
Are you one of Pam's circle of friends?
No, sadly.
Oh, I was gonna say you're like Japanese Margaret or
No.
what's she called?
I tried to get Big Fat Sue
Big
on,
Fat
but,
Sue. That's what I'm
she's
thinking of.
No, yeah, she's at a Weight Watchers class. I'm
Right.
afraid,
Okay.
so busy.
Yeah. So you're part of the Essex side.
Right, your 4 questions down.
Oh, okay.
Just to let you know,
Are you throughout all 3 series?
No. That's a big no.
Okay,
5
5
questions.
questions down.
Right, we'll recap because you're halfway.
No, it's cool.
So,
I've got it. Okay, so
All right, you've got
yeah.
it.
Essex side, cast member, not one of Pam's friends, and not in all 3 series. Okay, So what that puts it down to is it puts it down to someone who's kind of a bit part character, but still has some relation to the Essex contingent. You're not a neutral character, yes or no?
That's tricky.
Yeah,
Wait.
I think you're going
Yes,
down the wrong route.
Chuck,
here,
sorry,
Callum.
may I hear from the mystery guest? Are you a neutral character?
Yeah. Yes.
Slightly neutral.
Slightly neutral.
Are you at the mast protest?
No.
So that's 6 questions.
That is 6 questions.
Who is the main character you are affiliated with? And I'm gonna say from you sound very well spoken, so I'm gonna say that you're probably one of the more adult characters. Is that correct? Okay.
No. I mean, I may have been putting an accent on.
Are you affiliated with Rudy?
No.
Okay, there we go. Are you in series 2?
Yes.
Okay, series 2, cool.
Yep.
And only series 2.
Yep.
I'll allow that as one question.
Thank you. Okay, so only series 2. So we've got Capriccios, we've got bowling, we've got we've got the Essex night out, the phone party, we've got we've got the bits in the pub with Smithy and Gav. Okay, we're getting warmer. I know who you are. But can you make sure that you bring me an actual portion of chips?
Yep.
Are you the waitress in the pub?
So you want fish and chips?
And chips.
And chips.
Love it.
We got there.
Within 10 questions as well.
Done. Yeah.
Outrageous.
I mean, I did give you a vocal hint, but I thought, well, that was
Okay,
it.
yes,
That was in the pub with Gavin.
No, that's really interesting. That's a really tough one to get because you are quite neutral.
Yeah. Because it's just a real one-off kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not.
Welcome.
I suppose it's a nice scene, but it's not a big. It's not the phone party or the big.
Yeah.
It's a little vignette.
Love
in
it.
Live. Yeah.
Okay, lovely to meet you.
Welcome, Callum.
Thank you.
She has a real name. It is Susie Riddell.
Nice to meet you, Susie.
Welcome
Nice
to the
to meet you.
podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. That was
That's a
very
pleasure.
entertaining from a completely neutral point of view.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a good. Well, I'm impressed.
Okay, that's good.
Do you want
Got
to
it.
tell us a bit about yourself? How did you get involved with the show, and what are you up to now?
Well, I was at drama school at the time, filming that actually in Wales, in Cardiff, the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. But I'd actually done a teeny bit on Saxondale the year before, I think. Ted Dowd got me in to audition for the fish and chip waitress.
And Ted Dowd
is the exec producer
Okay.
Yeah.
of Baby Cow and Gavin and Stacey. And they gave me the part. And it was actually recorded, filmed in Barry.
Okay.
In a pub there. And so I was able just to nip down from Cardiff. And that was 11 years ago. But still, it's still a big thing. You know, if anyone sees it on telly, they're like, oh my God, that's Susie. So that's nice. What do I do? I'm still an actor. And I am currently Tracy Horrobin, which is a regular character in The Archers on BBC Radio
cool.
4.
The Archers.
Yeah,
Nice.
you've got a very
Yeah.
like kind of radio-friendly voice, I have to say.
Thank you. Well, I do a lot of voiceovers and audiobooks and stuff, but I generally Tracy doesn't sound like me. She sounds like she's more from the countryside, around Worcestershire. But so I've just been on Radio 4 about half an hour ago in The Archers. And yeah, other than that, I kind of mainly look after my 2 very small children, and run a theatre company, and all sorts of stuff. But Gavin and Stacey is still very cool. It's like that is a very cool credit to have.
Yeah, were you a fan of the show before you got that little cameo
Yeah.
role, or so you actually like love the show and then got to
yeah.
appear on it? That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I was to work with James Corden and And Matthew Horn was like, oh my goodness.
And Susie, has anyone ever come up to you, sort of in the street, asking for an extra portion of chips, or kind of made reference to the show?
No one I don't know, but a lot of people I know will do that. I mean, only last week I had my friend, a friend from school whose son is about 13, I think, messaged me on Facebook saying, my son is so overjoyed that he knows you. He knows someone who's Gavin and Stacey. So it just keeps. It's like that's 11 years ago, but there's a new audience. You know, that's what's so fantastic about the show, isn't it? There's 12-year-old boys now watching it, loving it.
They would have been like 6 when it came out.
So go on forever. Just be about 1.
What? I thought
it was 2008.
Oh my word, yeah. I'm thinking of when it
2008.
ended 7 years ago. Blimey.
Susie, whose side are you on, Gavin or Smithy's? I mean, we discussed this earlier on in this episode, last episode. Do you think Smithy has got a fair point asking for a few chips being added on as like an actual legitimate portion? Because I'm on his side personally.
Well, he didn't ask for a few chips, though, did he? He asked for the entire portion of chips.
Yeah, exactly. Which they entitled
Gavin
to.
did swap them for onion rings. So
He did. So you're saying he's just being a greedy.
So it's kind of probably should have paid a bit more, but I don't know, because that waitress was fairly grumpy. I'm not sure.
Did you do some Stanislas? Is it Stanislas, the
Stanislavski.
acting kind of style? Did you do some sort of research into actress
Some
waitresses
method
roles?
acting.
Like, you go to,
I
Yeah,
got a
method
job.
acting.
I got a job for like 6 weeks beforehand, just in a fish and chip restaurant, and I only stayed in character for that whole time. I only spoke in monosyllables for the entire time I was there.
You immerse yourself in the role like the Joker.
Yeah. No, it was great. They were so lovely, and it was really fun. And it was nice to have it's nice to be in something that people remember that scene.
Did you land any slightly aggravated waitress roles off the back of it, or has that been your only kind of appearance?
I think that's my only waitress role as yet. But maybe with this newfound interest in Gavin and Stacey, with the Christmas special coming out, I'll just have a burst of offers. I was hoping they'd get the waitress in, obviously, for the Christmas special, but it hasn't happened.
Is that an exclusive? We can reveal that there is going to be no ordering scene in the Christmas special.
I can't say there'll be no fish and chips, but there's definitely no me. So unless they're not telling me something.
And obviously, on the topic of the Christmas special, it's a little over a month away. Do you have any theories? Have you seen online stuff about this new character, Sonia, being introduced? Have you had any ideas about it?
I saw something on Twitter the other day, but I have no idea. I can't think who she'd be. Maybe someone's daughter? Someone's long-lost daughter?
But she's quite old in real life. That's our problem with it. So we're thinking that she must be somehow. We've worked out that her real actress age is similar to the ages of Gavin, Stacey, and Smithy. So we're thinking like.
Well, that's what I mean. Like she could be their sister, one of their sisters. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or do you think she's a love interest? Or do you think she's a potential? Because Gavin and Stacey are married, aren't they?
They're married, and then obviously we're left on tenterhooks, like a Smithy and Nessa technically together, like
yeah.
So no, it's all interesting.
I think it might be because it's a Christmas special, isn't it? So it's like an hour long.
Yeah. So how much can they
fit?
fit
Get
in?
a lot done in an hour, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it will be a very exciting watch on Christmas Day, and you've played a part in this amazing series. It must be an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's really it is. It's really nice, and because it just it's there, and it's always there, and it's still got interest in it, and people are still impressed, and it's still on telly. So I still get about £1.50 in royalties every 3 years. So it's keeping me afloat financially as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Love it.
Go and get yourself some onion rings from the local pub.
I will. Double portion.
Yeah. All right, Susie, thanks so much. You're a legend. That was awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on, Susie.
Thank you.
There we go. Series 2.
Series 2 is over.
Complete.
It's gone like a flash.
It has flown by. It feels like we're in Capri shows just last week.
Yeah.
It's
What
been
a
a
bowl of
blinder.
pasta that was.
It's been great to do it on YouTube. So if you are watching, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for watching.
If you're listening, thanks for tuning in again.
Thank you for listening.
We've really, really enjoyed it. We're loving where the podcast is heading. Like we've been nominated for awards during this series, and with the Christmas special coming up, please do stay tuned. We've got big plans at What's Occurring Pod on Twitter. like, subscribe, do all the usual shebang.
And thank you to everyone who's been continuously supporting.
Engaged, every guest we've had.
We've had a few people that have literally just loved this thing to death, and we've never met you in our lives, but thank you for sharing our love for Gavin and Stacey.
Finally, as well, it's worth a quick mention that we actually, so those of you eagle-eyed among you might be a little bit disappointed that we haven't had a few more like cast members on, like we did in the first series.
We've not actually talked about this, have we?
But yeah, we did want to mention it. The reason why we did it was because, well, the cast members can't actually speak about the
even
program.
the ones who aren't in it, they can't
locked
talk.
Down.
Yeah.
However, as well, one of the real main reasons was that we felt, although we loved having those cast members kind of on the first series, we felt our favourites were just the genuine fans, and I feel like the guests we've had on have kind of like really taken this series to a new level.
And this is about being a fan, this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is all about. So why not celebrate being a fan of an amazing show, having fans on? You know?
Exactly. And to all of the fans who've come on, it's been an absolute joy, apart from Cam.
Cool. Thank you very much for listening.
Series 2, we will see you very soon. Keep your eyes peeled on our social media for plans for Series 3, soon to be revealed.
19 Rabadak, over and out.
Oh, the episode's over. Page your hackle for a periera, or in other words, sling your hook or I'll break your face.